Right now, the man accused of carrying out a deadly shooting in Blair is now charged with first-degree murder. The Council Bluffs man made his first court appearance today. Elijah Logan was denied bond at his arraignment. Investigators accuse Logan of shooting the mother of his child and killing her brother, 34-year-old Jordan Ely. The shooting happened at a home near Blair High School last Friday. New details revealed in court say shots were exchanged between Logan and the victim who was killed. A county attorney on the case spoke to 6 News, and he shared his condolences to the victim's family.
They're clearly upset, clearly trying to stay away from the internet, make sure that they take this time to heal and try to understand, if there is any understanding, why these things happen.
Logan is also facing 6 other charges, including child abuse, burglary, assault, and weapon charges.